Besides Think and Grow Rich, what are your most influential books? Guys, I'm pretty fucking tired of books. Like I am. And it's funny, like here's what I've been doing. And I did this all of last year. I bought a lot of books in 2022. I think I read I probably read 3 books. I picked up a lot of books. I read a chapter here, a chapter there, but I think I finished like 3 books. Okay. And one of them that I really, really dove into was Think and Grow Rich. And so, Dean, I'm not trying to avoid your question or telling you it's bad to read books, but guys, there comes a point when like you can consume and consume and consume. And it's like it's almost unhealthy. You consume to the point where you don't do jack shit, right? We all have those friends on Instagram that are like, they take the picture of the book and it's like, oh, number 4 out of 52. It's like, fuck you, bro. Go make some money. Quit ordering books and go make some money. I would rather you, Dean, or anybody, and Dean, this is just me getting a little bit excited here because I've been thinking about this a lot. This is a great question though, and I'm going to answer it. I would rather you, Dean, pick one book this year, like Think and Grow Rich, and read it 17 times and implement every single chapter down from goal setting and desire to sex transmutation or whatever the hell it's called and master it in this year. You would make more money by doing that than reading 52 books and reading about this guy and this guy and this guy. Okay. I'm 32 years old. I've read a lot of these books, and let's be honest, 99% of these books are the same regurgitated bullshit as everything else. It's been out there forever, and it's just a new face and a new cover and all stuff, and it feels good. Don't get me wrong. I love going to Barnes & Noble and smelling the shit and getting the coffee thing and sitting down and reading a book thinking, oh, this is going to be the key. But to me, a book is kind of like some of you guys that are going to go dive into the next modules and you don't have a deal yet. Okay. Go make some money and then dive into the modules. Okay. Go implement the knowledge you already have. So my whole thing, and I'm going to probably do the same thing in 2023. I'm going to pick a book and I'm going to implement that bitch every single chapter. I'm to the point where I'm like, I've read a lot of books, man. I read the books when I was 17. I've read the Think and Grow Rich. I've read the Rich Dad Poor Dad. I've read all these classics, right? It's like, I want to fucking write books. I want to live a life. I want to do shit that allows me to write books. Okay. I think a lot of us, we get in this consume. And I catch myself doing it. What if every hour we spent consuming, we told ourselves, we got to spend 2 hours producing or 5 hours producing? What would your life look like? So anyway, Dean, I'm going to answer your question, I promise, but I just want to make sure that we don't get too far down the rabbit hole of like this book. And I know you guys are seeing like behind me, I have these books and I'll buy the book. If I see it's interesting or somebody that I like puts out a book, I'll buy it to support them. I'll stick it there. David Goggins, freaking love him. I've read a chapter or 2 of that book. I'll probably end up listening to it. That's a book that's different. Like it's way different. I like that kind of stuff. But I haven't finished a lot of books, man. I finished probably 3 books in 2022. So best books that I would recommend: Rich Dad, Poor Dad, Think and Grow Rich, and the another one that's one of my top ones. So I think you guys have heard me talk about this. I'm more of a business biography kind of guy. I'm way more interested in like studying people's lives. I'm interested in studying billionaires' lives. Just interesting, like people that have interesting lives that are rich. So some of my favorite business biographies, Shoe Dog, phenomenal book. Read that 3 times a couple of years ago. Listened to it twice, read it once, or maybe I did it. Listened to it 3. It's phenomenal. Shoe Dog. Another business biography that I read. This is one of the books I did read this year that was phenomenal, which is, I think it's called What It Takes or Whatever It Takes by Steven Schwartzman. He's the owner of Blackstone. Phenomenal book. Those are 2 really, really, really solid books. And those are both business biographies. So that's more my style of book. But as far as like classics, Think and Grow Rich and Rich Dad Poor Dad. And you know why I like Rich Dad Poor Dad, Dean, is because we are doing Rich Dad Poor Dad digitally. This is the new Rich Dad Poor Dad, baby. This is freaking doing what Robert Kiyosaki's talking about with escaping the rat race, but we're doing it online. Okay. Step aside, Uncle Robert. We got some new blood in town. Okay. Step aside, Robert. So anyway, if you guys haven't read those books, those are solid.